You're listening to Cess and C Flash, always talking sports on Village Legends podcast.
Oh, baby, we are coming in hot today, folks. Episode 5 of the Village Legends podcast. Myself, Cess, my boy C Flash on my side. We are back once again to talk sports from all over the globe. It's a big one today. The NFL draft. Oh, baby. The NBA playoffs. The NHL playoffs. We got the Mets Minute, as always. And we got a lot more to talk about. And, of course, what the heck is going on with Shannon, Sharpe? Oh, my goodness. But, folks, we're going to start where everybody's talking about this week in sports, the NFL Draft 2025. Wow. C-Flash, my boy, welcome in. The NFL Draft, brother. Let's talk about it. Let's get in deep. You know the main story of the week. That's what it is. Talk to him.
What up, good people? We back. Episode 5. So we're going to just jump right into it because the topics are so hot that it's burning my tongue. We want to sit here and talk about the NFL draft real fast. A lot of major talk and discussions about the Shadeur Sanders, how he was treated and how he was knocked out of the first round and how his stock dropped. How his NFL stock plummeted.
Yeah.
So basically, you know, it's a major debate amongst me and my boy Cess, a lot of the listeners. I just want to chime in real quick that the NFL is an alliance, people. We have to make sure we understand that the NFL is an alliance. It is bigger than politicians. Because presidents have tried to interrupt the NFL. It doesn't work out at all. Former players have tried to interrupt the NFL. It doesn't work out at all. Hall of Famers, that is. Let me be clear. Hall of Famers that tried to chime in. The major thing about it is the situation that happened with Shadeur. Everyone that has come to me and talked to me on the side has said, well, what about what Eli Manning did and what Archie Manning did? You know, back in 2004. Let's pump our brakes. Let's get real. That happened 21 years ago. And I beg anyone out there to come and say anything. What about or challenge in 21 years, has it ever happened again? No, it has not, my good people. It has definitely not happened. The NFL wouldn't allow it to happen. And let's talk about how it affects the NFL and all 32 teams. When we just say, hey, I'm not letting my son play for this particular team. You're disrupting the small market teams. Big market teams have all the money in the world, but the small money market teams, it affects. We have to be careful on what we say. That's a shot and a shout out to the great Deion Sanders. And I want to say that the great Deion Sanders, who is a Hall of Famer and one of the top 5 defensive backs of all time. I understand, Deion, that you love your son and kudos. And I pay homage to all those parents out there who love their kids. But let's be clear. Words mean something. Deion, earlier this week, you went on podcast. You went on talk shows, and made comments that you pretty much don't want your son going to Cleveland. You might not have came out and said it like that, but your hints were there, and that your son was not going to play for any scrub teams in the NFL. You didn't come out and say that either. But you made it very clear in hints that's what you were talking to your son about. And I go to the Tamron Hall, who's a talk show host, and she has a great show. And Deanna, you were on that show where you made comments about that, you know, your son not confiding in you, that you would be like, hey, that's kind of crazy. But you didn't say it as such, but you looked at it like, who else is he going to confide in? Your son now is a man, Dion, and even when he talks, he said he's willing to play for any team. But I got to say that this one falls on you, Prime. Coach Prime, it falls all on you. Why this has happened to your son. And I want to pass it off to my man, Sess, and tell me what you think.
That's something. That is a hell of a start right there. Listen, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, all right? Shadeur was picked by those same Cleveland Browns in the 5th round, overall pick number 144. And this is a young man who was on most people's depth charts coming into the draft, a top 5, if not a top 10 talent. Now, you're saying that Dion came out and he caused his son that much of a drop in the NFL draft stock? Is possible, and I think some of that is true. I think I agree with you on some of that. I think overall, when you add that to the fact that also the young man did not perform in the NFL Combine, chose not to participate. Number 2 or number 3 in this case, anonymous sources, which is never a good thing in my opinion. Anonymous sources say that he had a terrible interview with many of the NFL teams, which I think is nuts. So when you combine those things, it cost him to drop that much. That is kind of crazy to me, and I'll tell you why. We have a history in this league. You mentioned the Manning brothers and what they pulled off with their father a long time ago. We have Baker Mayfield, who by all intents and purposes was a cocky dude coming out of school. Still went in the 1st round. Guess to who? Cleveland, of course.
Baker at most did also have issues in college as well.
Right. Correct. Right. So now, again, just to reiterate, Shadeur had none of these issues. For all intents and purposes, he was a great teammate, never called out his line, even though he took a lot of sacks, as we know. But he never called out his teammates and was said to be a great teammate. Then you have a guy like Johnny Manziel. We all remember Johnny Football back in 2014. Johnny Football, the NFL knew that this guy had problems coming in. They probably knew he was on drugs coming into the NFL draft, but they picked him anyway in the 1st round. So that to me says, okay, you got guys that have actual problems off the field, and sometimes on the field.
I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah.
That is facts.
Yes.
So all of you, to all the listeners, pay attention.
Yeah.
The NFL has its own FBI. Go ahead.
That's right. They know what's going on with these kids. Now you got 2 guys that clearly were good ball players. Were they ultimately 1st round talents? That's debatable. Probably not, especially not in Johnny Football's case. But had issues coming in. And now you have Shadeur Sanders, who, like his father, plays with a little flair, a little flash, a little bit outspoken, a little bit of cockiness, knows how good he is. And really, to me, that was his only detriment. So while I hear you, I think Dion had a part of it. I think all these other factors included had a part of it too. And, you know, it is what it is. Here we are. 5th round, 144th, and he goes to Cleveland, who has a quarterback depth chart that's already pretty long. We got Deshaun Watson is still there. Joe Flacco is still there. Kenny Pickett. They also drafted Dylan Gabriel.
Okay.
Right in this draft. And Shadeur Sanders. You got 5 guys. At least 2 of them are going to be gone.
Yes.
We expect Shadeur to make the team. What do you think? Is Shadeur going to be one of the top 3 that stay?
I'm glad you just offered me that question because I want to be clear.
Yeah.
All right. To all our viewers, to our Village Legends Village Legend listeners. I'm gonna stop saying viewers. Correct. I stand correct.
One day you got it. One day we'll be viewing.
What the NFL has just done, and I truly mean this from the bottom of my heart to the top of my heart. I have to be clear. You have just created a beast. Okay? Shadeur Sanders has the DNA of a great, a legend. Okay? And he has made it clear he wants to make his own identity in the NFL. It's so crazy that he's on the opposite side of the football. But I tell you, NFL fans, NFL owners, thank you, because we're about to see greatness. I don't want to predict what his future is going to be like. I'm just saying I believe in my mind that he's going to be something special.
Let's hope so. I think I see good things for him as well. By the way, real quick, I just want to add, Coach Prime, let's keep it real. Coach Prime, this year's draft, or this year's NFL draft and free agency season, he had 4 kids drafted and 4 other kids, including Shiloh Sanders, signed to NFL teams. So that's 8 teams that Coach Prime, 8 players that Coach Prime was coaching that are now in the NFL. So they cannot take that away from him. I know they talked a lot of crap about his team in college, about how they were overrated, and in some ways they were, you know, but he produced 8 NFL players. So let's keep it real and let's give him his props and his respect for that. Got to give it up for him.
Seth, real quick, one quick thing. Shout out to Shiloh. Like you mentioned, Shadeur's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Shiloh, I give you nothing but the highest props, the highest praise. Young man, you stood there and you celebrated your brother when he got drafted. You went through, I believe there's 6 rounds, if I'm not mistaken, in the NFL draft, and you did not even get drafted. You've been through all of this controversy, okay, and all this loud noise, but you have stayed true to your family. That's one thing I give a shout out to Deion Sanders for, because it shows how he keeps his family, how he's raised his sons, that things are great in that family. Never has Shiloh showed any jealousy, but I tell you this, again, you have created a beast within the Sanders family. No matter what it is, these guys are going to shine.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, my brother.
You know you want to be the first to know about the next controversial take, or maybe you just need a laugh to get through the week. Either way, hit subscribe and join the squad. We've got enough hot takes to keep your brain burning.
Quick NFL draft recap overall. We got to shout out Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick to Tennessee. He's going to be great. I think he's got the attitude and the skills to be a great player. Travis Hunter, number 2 to the Jags. The Jags traded up to get Travis Hunter. Some people, including Mel Kiper, are saying Travis Hunter is one of the best ball handlers and hand-eye coordination that they've ever seen coming into the draft. So shout out to him. The Giants with the 3rd pick got their man, who we spoke about a couple weeks ago, Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
The Pats were the 4th pick. Yes, sir, Abdul. The Pats were the 4th pick. Will Campbell goes to the Pats out of LSU. Mason Graham at 5 out of your Michigan Wolverines, going to Cleveland as well.
All right, Mason.
Ashton Genty, who we spoke about too, the running back. He was the first running back off the board, as we said he would be a couple weeks ago, folks. He went to the Raiders. The New York Jets got Armand Membu out of Miss. And of course, the Cowboys at number 12 took Tyler Brooker out of Alabama. We've got a lot of Cowboys fans that listen, so we got to let them know. So that's it. That's the overall. Now, to go back to our Giants real quick, I know you wanted to touch on their draft picks a little bit. I can tell you a quick recap, and then you can talk about them. Abdul Carter, number 1. Number 2, a bit controversial. Their 2nd pick in the 1st round, Jackson Dart, out of Ole Miss, same school as Eli Manning. Controversial because compared to Shadeur Sanders, their stats are very close. You'll tell us about him in a sec. Darius Alexander, defensive tackle out of Toledo. Cam Scatterboo, of course, the running back out of Arizona State, who you also mentioned 2 weeks ago would be one of the top running backs in the draft. Thomas Fidone, the tight end out of Nebraska. And Corey Black, the cornerback out of Oklahoma State. Give us a quick recap what your thoughts are for the Giants draft picks.
Well, first and foremost, I enjoyed to know that the Giants worked very hard on with their draft picks, as they should. It's not just the fact that John Mara and Steve Tisch are on the hot seat, in my mind, they're on the hot seat. You have Sean and Dable that are clearly on the hot seat, and they've been put on notice that this season is pretty much their last if they don't do what they got to do as head coach and general manager. I like the picks. The Giants, and this is a a shout to all Giant fans so that we all understand each other. The Giants defense is looking right. So for those who doubt our defense, doubt no longer.
Agreed.
The Giants defense is turning around, folks. The offense is the problem. Also, in our last segment, I also touched on that it takes offensive line when you're building a NFL team, a high school team, a college team. The offensive line means a lot. Our offensive line, that's why the Giants did not really draft too many, because they have the pieces in place. I like what I like what we got as far as our draft picks, but I want to go into the whole situation with Jackson Dart and Shadeur Sanders. Why there was so much friction. There's Giant fans that say, well, why the hell did we not pick Shadeur? So I just want to, read a couple of their stats and, make some comparisons to our listeners.
Yes.
Shadeur Sanders in 2024 season, going into 2025, was 4,134 passing yards. He passed for 37 TDs, and he rushed for 4 TDs. His completions was 353 of 477 attempts. He had 10 interceptions. All right? For those that are listening, all right, I repeat, Shadeur Sanders had 4,100 passing yards and 37 passing TDs. His stats is enough. If you're going as a NFL scout, this is awesome. Jackson Dart, Ole Miss, the University of Ole Miss, the University of Mississippi, 4,279 passing yards, 29 passing TDs with 6 interceptions. He also added 3 rushing touchdowns. His completions was 276 of 398.
Okay. So threw a lot less than Shadeur, and
less interceptions,
of course, and less touchdowns, of course, but pretty close otherwise. Right there, same amount of yards, actually eclipsed them a little bit. Nice.
So when we're sitting there talking about, well, geez, why the hell would we not go after Cam Ward? Why the hell would we not go after Jackson Dart? Well, we all know that Cam Ward was going to be the number 1 pick. For those that did not think that, you had to think it was either Cam Ward or Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is the Heisman Trophy winner, but Travis Hunter is super talented. Cam Ward was the best quarterback in that draft. I agree wholeheartedly that he was the best quarterback in that draft. But when we sit there and get mad with the New York Giants as to why they didn't pick Shadeur, why we went with Jackson Dart, there were talks and signals about the Giants having interest in Jackson Dart for a while. They also had interest in Shadeur Sanders. But they're not too far apart, folks. As sport fans, as NFL football fans, let's understand this. Do your homework. I want to give a straight yell to all fans. Do your homework. Understand that before you judge, understand you do your research, be knowledgeable, understand exactly what these NFL scouts do on a normal basis, because we're not all NFL scouts. We're not all college scouts. We're not all analysts. A lot of us are the working man and working woman. So we don't have time to do all of that. But when we do, those that are sitting there on social media, flipping their lids, going off. Oh, why did we do that? Why did we do that? Or why did we do this? No. Do your homework. Don't let somebody tell you something. You go do the research. I believe this kid has the talent, Jackson Dart. And this is why I'm not just saying because I'm a Giant fan. I watched him at college. Lane Kiffin was his head coach and his offensive coordinator. Lane Kiffin, if those who don't know who Lane Kiffin is, he won a national championship at the University of Alabama. Okay? with the great Nick Saban. He also was an NFL head coach. Okay. He also was part of other teams. Lane Kiffin had Jackson Dart pro ready. Shadeur Sanders was pro ready. So we couldn't go wrong both ways. That's all I'm saying.
We'll see. Do you think Jackson Dart do they look at him as our quarterback of the future?
Hands down.
Yeah.
Because, number one, we only signed Russell Wilson to a 1 year, $21 million deal. Huh? We have Jameis
Winston.
Winston, sorry, Jameis Winston as our backup. The Giants did everything according to how they wanted it to be for the future. And Jackson Dart is our future.
Nice. What about Cam Scatterbo? You think he's going to represent? Does he remind you of any old Giant running backs?
In our last segment, we talked about the running backs that I seen going into the NFL, and a good majority of them made it to the NFL, and they made it to NFL teams. Cam Scatterbo is a talented running back. He plays if I may, and no offense to Hall of Famers or people who might disagree with me, that's okay. This is our podcast, so we talk our truths. He runs violently. He runs with ferocity. He enjoys contact. Nice. And he plays with so much confidence that people might mistake it for cockiness. That's okay. This young boy wants to let everyone and put everyone on notice that he is out here to do great things. And it didn't matter what team he went to. Cam is going to show what he's got. I watched him in the college football playoffs, and I said, oh, my God, who is this young man? He's a beast. And the Giant fans, we need to get ready for him because he's going to be a load to take down. He's in college, he had 1,500 yards, again, 1,500 yards rushing, and he had 500 receiving yards. So he's got good hands. I watched him when he played against Texas in the college football playoffs. Kid was just, eye-popping. I was like, oh, my God, this is something special right here. Again, as long as our offensive line protects him and he does what he needs to do to keep his body healthy, he's going to be special.
A lot of talent in this NFL draft. Going to be exciting to see these kids develop into the pros that they now are. Now, I know you wanted to touch a little bit on, because before the NFL, before college, these are high school athletes. And I know there's a couple notable athletes that you want to mention today before we get off to football. Just to recap real quick with the NFL draft, Shadeur Sanders will be okay, folks. Various reasons why he dropped. It was messed up. It wasn't cool, but he's going to be just fine. So just wait and see. Now, with that said, why don't you tell us about these young bucks that are coming into the future here?
I just want to touch on the future of high school football. Thank you to all the camps that have been invented for high school football, for high school baseball, for high school basketball. You have definitely made these kids ready, more confident. And I just applaud, because when, back in the days in our time, we didn't have such things. We had to go out and do it ourselves. So to see these camps and to see the rise of the camps and how the pros today even and pay homage to their camps and how it got them prepared. I give a round of applause to all of these camps that have brought up stars and continue to bring future stars. So I want to get into the high school football real quick. The number one rated player is Brandon Arrington out of Mount Miguel High School. The number one high school baseball player in the country is Ethan Holiday, plays shortstop, Stillwater, Oklahoma High School.
By the way, sorry to cut you off, the younger brother of Jackson Holiday the other son of former professional baseball player Matt Holliday.
Oh,
so what a genealogy they have. Go ahead, brother.
Which is nuts. That's absolutely crazy. And the number one high school basketball player in the country, AJ DeBonsa, out of Brockton, Massachusetts. He plays for Utah Prep. Again, good luck to these young men's future. They are the next talent that is going around in the country. And for those who love sports, again, like we do, keep a close eye on them folks, and get prepared for hopefully greatness in the making.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Before we get off of football, we got to touch on this real quick. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it because it was earlier in the week. But what is going on with our man Shannon Sharpe? Now, Shannon Sharpe, of course, has taken a little hiatus from ESPN. He will be back, folks. He's going through some stuff. C Flash, my boy, what is going on with Uncle Shannon? What is the deal here? Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to take my time with this one, with our listeners, Sess, because, this is a very sensitive conversation. Sensitive because it's still, he has a lawsuit pending with this. And I don't want to say something bad against a Hall of Famer who has a platform, and, the world knows who Shannon Sharpe is, especially those who are into sports, who love sports. We see him on ESPN. Also, Shannon has, I think it's Club Shay Shay.
Yep.
He has that podcast, and he has the one with Chad Ochocinco.
Ochocinco is doing very well.
Yes. So I don't want to say anything crazy about Shannon Sharpe. I will say this though. When you do have a platform and you are very successful, and you just are doing your damn thing, you're going to have haters. And that also includes with your social life. Shannon to my understanding, is not married, but I know he has kids. And it's rough that his family has to go through this, because now he's put in a position to have to defend himself. I just think it's crazy. At the end of the day, it's really wild. But Shannon, you also should have learned a little bit in the past, because there was some leaked footage of you having some type of sexual relations.
Oh, on Instagram, on his live Instagram.
Yes, which that was the signal right there. And if they didn't stop there, Shannon, you should have known right then, futuristically, that they were still coming for you. It doesn't matter if it's Shannon Sharpe, doesn't matter if it's Stephen A. Smith, doesn't matter if it's Sess and C Flash. Mm-hmm. When you have a platform, you got to be careful.
Yep.
Because they're coming. And it's so sad today. It's so sad.
Just folks, just so we're clear, Shannon is being accused of sexual assault by his one-time girlfriend who was 19 when they met. Shannon is 56 right now. Listen, to each his own. They're both adults. Not something that I would probably be into. I live by that rule. I forget who said it, but that rule is you divide your age by 2 and then you add 7. So Shannon, your girls in the future should be at least 34 years old, my good man. But anyway, we wish him luck on that. Shannon will be back hopefully one day. Hopefully he's cleared of any wrongdoing if it is so, if that's the case. If not, then hopefully justice is served one way or the other. So shout out to everyone involved in that case. Hopefully it works itself out.
Well, that draft was wilder than a Jets fan at a tailgate with no supervision. If your team just drafted a future Hall of Famer or a dude who couldn't catch a cold in a blizzard, don't worry, we're breaking it all down right here. Hit that subscribe button like it's Roger Goodell getting booed off stage. Follow us, because we're about to track these rookies like fantasy managers with no life. And if you think we're wrong, slide in the comments. We've got more clapbacks than a cornerback with a chip on his shoulder. Whether you live for draft season or just just watched to see if your cousin gets picked in the 6th round, welcome to the squad. Join the fam, because Village Legends podcast is built like a first rounder, fast, loud, and impossible to ignore.
The NFL for the week. It's been a crazy week in the NFL for sure. At the same time, go ahead, brother.
Real quick, Sess, I don't want to cut you off.
Go ahead, brother.
I'm sorry to do this. Aaron Rodgers. I just want to touch bases about Aaron real quick so everybody understands. We are longtime NFL fans on Village Legends.
Yes, sir.
We love all sports, but
yes, we do.
It's just wild to me that we seem to still talk about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron is a future Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, longtime Packer, played also with the Jets. But it's crazy that we're talking about Aaron Rodgers as if like he is the number 2 pick or 1 pick or 3 pick of this year's NFL draft. We still continue to put him on the high pedestal as if like he's calling the shots. No, Aaron, you're not doing that no longer. Your body's breaking down. I don't know you as a close friend. I don't know you as a friend. I don't know you as how you live your lifestyle. I just go by what I see on a football field, and you show professionalism. When I've watched you, I respect you as a player, and you are a future Hall of Famer. But I think it's time, like at one point in one of our episodes, we've talked about that it's time for LeBron James. That if LeBron does not win an NBA title this year, that we should move on from Mr. LeBron James. Thank you for entertaining us. Thank you for giving us the accolades that we were able to witness you get and receive in your sport. Aaron Rodgers, thank you for doing the great things that you allowed us to witness and say, wow, that's a great quarterback. But it comes a time we say enough is enough. And I just wanted to put that out there.
Let me put you on the spot real quick. Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, or Aaron Rodgers, if you had the pencil, who is your quarterback for the 2025 NFL season? If those are your 3 guys right there, who are you picking? Let's hear it.
Ah, man.
When you put it in that perspective, it gets a little bit tougher to write them off when those are your options.
Village Legend listeners. Ah, man, my good people. He put me on the spot. Even though you guys can't see, what my buddy says has my reaction and everything right now is just off the hook. It's wrong in him to ask me those questions.
It's a fair question. It's fair. Hey, anything can happen.
Of course, it'll be Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. All right. I hear you.
He got me. And to all the NFL fans, you guys all know, because we're Giant fans. Our Giants would also select Aaron Rodgers to be on that underneath center. So those who say they wouldn't, they are BSing you.
They're lying.
Okay? They are BSing you. I'd be a fool to say otherwise.
Amazing. Good stuff, brother. Was that our extra point of the day?
You know.
All right, let's do it, baby. All right, that's the NFL wrap for the week. It's a crazy week in the NFL. We'll be talking about that. NFL's year-round nowadays, so we'll be talking about that probably every show here, folks, on the Village Legends podcast. As we move on in episode 5, the NBA playoffs. They're hot. They're heavy. Our Knicks up 3-1. They won today, 94-93. Karl Anthony Towns was on fire today. Brunson His ankle was hurting. He still played very well. Came down to the last possession. The Pistons claim they were fouled on the last shot. Watch it for yourself, folks. I'm not going to say either or. I'm a Knicks fan. We'll take the victory. We're up 3-1. NBA playoffs overall, my brother. I'll give you a quick recap. The Cavs are up 3-0 over the Heat. The Pacers are up 2-1 over the Bucks. The Celtics are up 2-1 over the Magic. That's the East. In the West, the Thunder has swept the Grizzlies. They're moving on. The Clippers and the Nuggets tied at 2. The T-Wolves and Ant-Man are up 2-1 over LeBron's Lakers. And Steph Curry is up 2-1 with his Warriors over the Rockets. Tell us what your thoughts are so far with the NBA playoffs, my friend.
The NBA playoffs are exciting. Whenever you put the playoffs in any type of sentence, it's always going to be exciting. The regular season's over. Regular season, it has been forgotten. Now you're trying to win a championship.
Yep.
I just want to talk about real fast the emergence of Kawhi Leonard. I want to put Kawhi Leonard in this conversation because those who forgot the claw, he's bringing reality back to all NBA fans and basketball fans. Kawhi Leonard is a problem. He's always been a problem. He's a two-time NBA champion when he's healthy. When he's healthy, Kawhi Leonard can do some damaging stuff. As the Nuggets are finding out, they probably were like, oh my God, who is this guy? Kawhi Leonard is a problem.
He's rejuvenated.
He's healthy. And this is the same thing we seen when he played at Toronto. We knew what he had when he played for San Antonio, folks. But when he went to Toronto, the world was put on notice again how great Kawhi Leonard is. And Kawhi Leonard, during the playoffs, and I go back to game 2 because I have to. When they won 105-102, Kawhi Leonard had 39 points, and he was 15 of 19 from the field. With that said, we still cannot forget about the great Nikola Jokic. He still had a triple-double in that game, but you talk to the Jokic now and ask him what he thinks about Kawhi Leonard, and I guarantee Jokic is like, he is serious. He's serious. Just beast mode. There's not much else to say. The playoffs, the NBA playoffs has been wild. And again, I just want to touch bases on the emergence of Kawhi Leonard and his greatness. Cleveland is doing things that we knew they would do. Once Jimmy Butler left the Miami Heat, a lot of us knew it was over.
It was over.
You know, I'm sorry. But when you put up 50 points in a playoff game, that's a damn shame.
What are you doing?
That is a shame.
Again, I say it again. That's a damn shame. This is what y'all getting paid millions of dollars for? To lose by 50 or maybe more in a playoff game? The playoffs?
And with that said, by the way, Jimmy Butler, who is now on the Golden State Warriors, just missed game 3. But Steph Curry, shout out to Steph, stepped up, had 36 points, was 9 of 13 down the stretch to lift his team up and give them the victory over the Rockets. That should be a good series. I think the Warriors will pull away, but it should be a good series to watch. Shout out to Steph, the greatest shooter of all time. It doesn't matter. Regular season, playoffs, finals. Steph don't miss.
Seth, real quick.
Yeah.
Can we say that basketball is truly back?
Ooh. In what sense? I mean, if you're comparing it to its heyday, that, you know, when we're talking about when
Talent wise, my brother.
Ooh. Talent wise.
What's the debate?
Well, let's put it this way. Who are the top 5 players in the NBA, and how do they stack up with the top 5 players of that truly great generation? It's probably pretty close if you think about it. If you got Giannis, you got the Joker, you got Curry, you got LeBron on the team right now. Mm-hmm. That compares pretty well.
And don't forget about at the emergence of SGA.
Yes, absolutely. Shea Alexander for sure. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
He is a beast. And you know what? It was one of the things of in one of our podcast episodes that I forgot to include him, and I was just shooting myself in the foot because at the end of the day, he's also up there for the MVP race.
Yes,
and SGA is nasty.
Yes, he is.
What he has done and how he just literally swept Memphis, even though I know that Memphis is not a team like it's been a couple years in the making, with Ja Morant. This Memphis team, this OKC team is showing nothing but signs of future greatness. And they literally ran the Memphis Grizzlies off the court. They are a team that's put together. They play for one another, and they know what it means to close out the show when it's time. And I'm just, for me, a person again that has come and watched the greats. We've watched the greats. Me and my buddy, my brother, we've watched the greats. Sess and I have seen the greats.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say yes. Basketball is back, folks.
Ooh.
It's back, and it's coming with a vengeance. They are back finally. Those NBA fans that have been deprived, get ready.
Let's hope you're
happy.
Right. Let's hope you're right, brother. Hopefully, the finals is a good matchup, and they get the ratings that they're looking for sure.
Oh, congratulations to Mr. Evan Mobley, that also plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers, former draft pick out of University of Southern California. He is the defensive NBA Player of the Year.
Nice.
Congratulations to him, and continue doing valued success, young man.
Absolutely, my brother. Absolutely. That's the NBA. That's the week in the NBA. Should be a great week ahead for the playoffs as they continue. Some of these matchups will come to a close by the time we're on the air next week, so stay tuned for that.
We can't talk about sports and not mention NHL. And I just want to say that we respect the NHL, and we will continue to respect the NHL. The playoffs is looking crazy with the NHL. And I just want to sit there and say right now, you have between, if you had to take a pick of the Avalanche, Florida, Carolina, or Las Vegas to go to win it all. That's what the analysts are saying, even before the playoffs even started. And I just want to give a shout out to all of our NHL listeners and those who really, really love hockey. I know everyone would like to have their say, which one day we will be able to go and converse back and forth. But like I said, the analysts have picked the Avalanche or Florida or Carolina or Las Vegas to be this year's Stanley Cup champions. Just want to know how you guys feel about that, and let us know.
Yeah, leave us a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win Lord Stanley's Cup this year. Let's see what happens there. Awesome, brother. Of course, Major League Baseball is hot and heavy. 1 month in the books, just about. Our New York Mets came into today 19 wins, only 8 losses. Lost a tough one today. We were up. Oh, yes, sir. Give it up. Give it up. Lost a tough one today. We were up 7-1, but we ended up losing 8-7 in the bottom of the ninth. Bullpen's been stretched out a little bit lately. I'm not going to kill him for that. Everybody's hitting. Francisco Lindor is hitting .315. Polar Bear Pete Alonso is in the top 7 in like every offensive category. Not going to kill him. Francisco Alvarez and Jeff McNeil just made their return to the New York Mets. Alvarez with the game-winning home run yesterday.
Yes, he did.
Which is Saturday. Of course, and his backup, Luis Torrens, continues to swing a hot bat. They've been so good. Luis Angel Acuna, who we mentioned here before, he has been outstanding. He's not going anywhere, folks. But anyway, as we stand right now, the New York Mets, the best team in baseball, 19 wins, 9 losses. It's Sunday, April 27th, and we couldn't be happier. I'm especially happy with Lindor, who's usually a slow starter. His Aprils do not ever look as good as they look right now. Mm-hmm. So we might be in for a monster Francisco Lindor season, my brother.
I hope so. I hope so. It's still early. I hope so. It's crazy, but it's not crazy. I'm gonna take that verbiage out of my vocabulary because it's baseball. Baseball is humbling, but to see that the Mets, we were up 7-1 and we lost 8-7, I'm not shocked by that. Hopefully manager Mendoza, our chief of the Mets, will be able to fix that moving forward.
He's a great manager. I think he will. They're going to be just fine. By the way, our crosstown rivals, the New York Yankees, are also in first place at 15-11, and Aaron Judge is hitting .408 on the year. So they're not having any trouble over there in the Bronx right now at all. So shout out to them. And we'll see what happens. We'll keep following the Mets baseball in general all year long, all season long, and we'll talk to you guys about it as we go along here. Real quick, guys, all my soccer fans out there, shout out to Barcelona, FC Barcelona. Yesterday was the Copa del Rey in Spain, and it was another Clasico matchup. Two of the greatest teams in the history of league soccer, FC Barcelona and Real Madrid, faced off in El Clasico on neutral ground. Barcelona won an outstanding matchup. They won 3-2 in a second overtime goal in the 116th minute. It was crazy. Shout out to those young boys. Real Madrid should be much better with Mbappe, Vinny Jr., and the squad that they have, but they just have not put it together this year. FC Barcelona has a chance to sweep for the first time ever, win everything. The Spanish La Liga, the Champions League, the Copa del Rey, and the Europa League. It's incredible. So shout out to them. And, of course, shout out to Liverpool for winning the Premier League. They get that off, and they are the champions of the Premier League. Of course, what a team they are. Before we hit the birthdays, let's talk about rest in peace to Steve Mongo McMichael, the lineman, the defensive tackle for the Chicago Bears, and the part of the great 86 Bears team. Some say he had the biggest personality on the team, even bigger than Jim McMahon and Gaylord Perry and the like. Shout out to Steve Mongo McMichael. Of course, later went into pro wrestling and was part of one of your favorite factions, the Four Horsemen.
That's right.
That's right. Folks, that was a later version of the Four Horsemen. Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko, and Steve Mongo McMichael. Shout out to Steve. May he rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Also, don't forget about Telly Blanchard. Telly Blanchard too as well.
Well, Telly wasn't a part of that version of the Horseman, but he was an original Horseman for sure. The man, Telly Blanchard. Now we go into, of course, folks, one of our favorite segments, Sports Birthdays. Sports birthdays today. He would have been 131 years old today. Rogers Hornsby, one of the best hitters in baseball history, hit 403 times, played for the St. Louis Browns most of his career. Enos Slaughter, another old-time baseball name, 10-time All-Star. Not too many birthdays today, by the way, just so we know. April 27th, not heavy on the birthdays. Shout out to Enos. George the Iceman Gervin celebrates a birthday today, the master of the finger roll.
The Iceman.
Yes, sir. And current NFL wide receiver Keenan Allen. Happy birthday to him. Shout out to him who has a birthday today as well. Guys, thank you. As always, please hit that like button. Turn on your notifications. Make sure you comment and subscribe. We're coming in hard. Please. And we ain't stopping. We got this on lock now, folks. The best sports talk around. As we always do, my man C, as always, please take us out the way only you can, my brother. Hit it.
Well, thank you to our listeners on this episode 5. It's always been and it's going to continue to be a pleasure for us to talk about sports with each and every one of our listeners. It's a blessing for us to be here. I hope everyone has a good week and be safe. But as always, think about sports.
Peace.
Hey, If you got friends who still think football is boring or don't understand why the playoffs are basically the greatest reality show ever, send them our way. We'll convert them faster than a last-minute touchdown. And you, don't just sit there with your beer in hand, smash that like button and leave a comment, and let's get this sports-loving family bigger and rowdier than a tailgate party at the Super Bowl.